Alright, so this is going to be another movie review. This one's called Salo, or the 120 Days of Sodom, 1975. This is going to be another Pasolini flick. This is going to be a Nazi exploitation flick, which kind of surprised me because Pasolini is more known as an art house director, which is why I guess Netflix didn't ban this one, because they banned a Serbian film, and I don't see Arabian Nights on Netflix anymore. And the movie that spawned this was this whole Nazi exploitation subgenre was Ilsa, She-Wolf of the SS, which was a Thomas F. Friedman script from 1969. Didn't come out until 5 years later in 1974. But after that, Ilsa, She-Wolf of the SS came out. All these Italian directors start copying it, like this movie, Salo, and then there's Tinto Brass movie that I want to see if is available on Netflix. It's also a Nazi exploitation from 1976. This movie was banned off and on like 3 times in Australia. Adrian was telling me about it, and it's definitely not for the squeamish. I mean, if you can't handle torture or people eating scat, that kind of stuff, then yeah, even I had a tough time watching this one. It made me a little squeamish, quite honestly. So it does live up to its reputation. I'm giving it 3 out of 5 stars. I was kind of disappointed. It wasn't a gay video store at one point in Cincinnati, and then I guess some police officer tried to arrest the gay video store owner, and there was a big brouhaha from Martin Scorsese and all these big time directors claiming that it was an artistic film. I didn't see any art value in this film. I mean, to me, it's more like a gay pornography film. This is really gay, even more gay than Caligula, I would say. So it's got the sodomy aspect, if you're squeamish about that, too. I don't know. You might not be able to watch this one. It made me squeamish, and even the gay stuff is kind of, off camera, a weird camera angle, so you can't really see anything, but it's just simulated anal sex, I guess you call it. And a lot of anal sex, both male and female, in this one. So there's that, and of course they're eating chocolate instead of scat, but it looks pretty realistic. So that's why it was kind of weird. I think I like the ending of Shriek of the Mutilated better than this one, and I don't know. I just thought it was too long, drawn out, and then Pasolini goes off on his communism versus fascism, false dichotomy nonsense. These fascist libertines, as it were, the ones who like to torture and humiliate their victims, they call themselves bourgeoisie, which is really propaganda name for white male swine of a capitalist pig. And fascism is all about state control. The Nazi stands for National Socialism. So really, fascism and communism are 2 variants of the same kind of state control, socialism kind of thing. But Pasolini also. Um, there's one part where they say that fascists are for anarchy because this kind of libertine hell that Ilsa the she-wolf character was based on is a sort of anarchy. I didn't buy that either. Like I said, fascists are all about state control. It has nothing to do with free markets or capitalism, as the communists call it. So that part kind of irritated me. Then during the torture scenes at the end, it's all of a sudden one of the perpetrators of this madness is he makes a joke about a Bolshevik jumping in a Red Sea. I didn't get his joke, but he thought it was funny. Well, there's all this torture going on. Like this guy gets his ding-a-ling lit on fire with a candle. Another gal gets scalped. Another gets her eye poked out with a knife. So pretty gruesome stuff, man. I don't know. I just thought this movie was too long. It had Pasolini's political views in it, which I hadn't seen before. And it's not one of his better movies, in my opinion. I just thought it was too long and monotonous, and there was no plot really. That's why it's more of an exploitation movie. And it kind of surprised me that he switched his entire career for the most part was making art house kind of movies. Many of which were very good, by the way. He happens to be my favorite art house director. Werner Herzog is a distant second, by the way. And so I was hoping for more. It's just about these fascists in northern Italy. I guess he hates northern Italy because he's from the south, and northern Italy is like the fascist headquarters towards the end of World War II from 1944 to 1945, which was when this movie supposedly takes place. But the actors in this movie all have 70s hairdos, so it's not very believable. And what else can I say? Oh, yeah, John Waters loves this movie. I didn't think it was that great. I think it's overrated. And John Waters probably loves it because it's even gayer than Caligula, like I said. And what else? Oh yeah, so the fascists kidnap these supposedly adolescent boys and girls. I think there are 18 total or something like that. And they just start humiliating, torturing these kids. I don't know if they're actually under the age of 18 or what's going on, but apparently that's what caused this crazy cop to arrest the gay video store owner. It's like these people have nothing better to do. Same goes with the Australian censors, the politicians in Australia, banning this thing on and off for three times. I mean, come on, give me a break. Don't they have better things to do? And so at one point, I didn't really understand in this movie, like they're crawling on the ground like dogs on leashes, and they're making dog noises and stuff, eating food and from dog pails and eating food off the ground and stuff. So what obligated them to behave like this, and why are they so submissive? Like within the first hour of the movie, this movie is 2 hours long, by the way, and it does have a couple missing scenes. One scene was, I think it was 25 seconds of poetry, and another scene was when one of the girls gets a bunch of hungry rats um, taped to her vagina or something like that. That part was missing. I didn't see that part. And then I couldn't understand why the the perpetrators of this craziness, the four fascist villains in this one, why were they acting all submissive, like eating poo themselves? And oh, and then there's that scene from History's Du Cinema that Godard stole for his television deal. The scene where the girl pees on the guy's face all over his beard and his mouth and stuff. So now I know where Godard got that clip. Got it from Salo. Anyways, that's about it. I mean, yeah, I was real disappointed. This movie has quite a reputation. It is intended to shock. It did quite. It did shock me quite a bit in that respect. More so than Caligula, I'd say. And anyways, not a great flick. Not one of Pasolini's better movies, but I'm not too familiar with the Nazi exploitation genre, so I can't really say if it's better than the Tinto Brass movie or the Ilsa iterations, the original and the sequels. But if you want to see some good movies that are kind of like this, check out House of Whipcord or Bloody Pit of Horror. I think those movies are better in my opinion. But you got to give Pasolini the benefit of the doubt. I mean, he was just dabbling in exploitation film towards the end of his life, and he got murdered 3 weeks before the premiere of this movie by some random kid. Poor guy. So, yeah, who knows what kind of exploitation movies he could have made during the mid 70s after Salo. I know he was on track to make 2 more exploitation movies after Salo. So, yeah, it was an unfortunate thing. He could have expanded on this, maybe made something better than this if he had lived longer. But it's just one of those things that happen. One of those freak kind of occurrences in the history of film, I guess. So very unfortunate. I would have liked to have seen Arabian Nights, which was on Netflix at one point, and they took it off for some reason. I don't understand. And so that one's rated X. I wanted to see that one. Another Pasolini flick. And that's about all I have to say about this movie. I mean, so the Criterion disc is missing some scenes. I was disappointed by that. I was disappointed by the length of the movie, the fact that it doesn't have any plot or any real acting. I mean, the victims just cry out and they say, "God help me," and stuff like that. But other times they're smiling, like they're actually enjoying it, and a couple of them are actually engaging in some lesbian food. So that was kind of interesting. At one point, one of the victims is having sex with a black maid, and he gets caught. He just raises up his fist like that. I'm not sure what that's supposed to signify, but they shoot him. They shoot the maid in the head. The ending didn't really make sense to me, also. So yeah, kind of a letdown movie, but not as bad as Canterbury Tales. I think it was a little better than that. It's definitely got the shock value going for it. So if you are queasy at all about those three things I mentioned, the sodomy, the torture, and the eating poo kind of fetish, you're going to be even more squeamish than I was. Believe me, because I've watched a lot of movies like this, and it still made me squeamish. So if it makes me squeamish, it's going to make you doubly squeamish. Let me put it to you that way. And so these annoying older blonde fascist ladies, they're like relaying all this disgusting stories about pedophilia and eating poo and stuff, and torture, stuff like that. And then the guys get off on it, and they start trying to rape their victims while all this is happening. There's a piano player too, and she jumps out the window, commits suicide at the end for no apparent reason. I couldn't figure that one out. So that's about all I have to say about this. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's exploitation, kind of redundant and boring after a while, but definitely has some shock value to it. So kind of had mixed feelings on this one. Laters.